On the November 30th, I went into Casa Chevy Buick here in Alamogordo, New Mexico, to purchase a vehicle because I needed a vehicle. And I went in there. I told them how I was going to pay for it and everything, the way of conveyance and everything. With the individual I spoke to, the sales representative, which was Justin Lejean. And I found the vehicle with him and sat down inside, and we went through the whole thing about buying the vehicle, how I was going to purchase the vehicle. I told him I'll be purchasing it totally in full. And then we sat there, of course, for a little while, and he went to go put me in with the finance manager. He had already talked to him about how I was going to pay for it and what I wanted and all that good stuff. And I told his name was Austin Welch, the finance manager, whom I went in to go speak with. And I told him the same exact thing. I showed him how I was paying for it. He said, "Oh, that shouldn't be a problem. I've seen it done before. I've just never done it," he said. And he had been doing it for over a year already. But he said he didn't see a problem with it. So he left for a little while went to go talk to his manager, I suppose. And they told me, he came back, he said, "Well, congratulations on the purchase of your new truck." I said, "That's great." He says, "They're going to be washing it and stuff like that." It was before the holiday weekend of Thanksgiving. It was Thanksgiving, I'm thinking of. And so he goes, "If I have to wait till after the weekend in order for me to get the truck." I said, "Okay, I'll come back then and I'll see what's going on and pick it up." He says, "Okay, great." And so before I left, this was all at the end. While he congratulated me, he was giving me the contracts to sign. I signed everything. I got the bill of sale. I got a copy of it here. I got the agreement, purchase agreement. I have that. I signed like 13 contracts for warranties. And then, he told me it wouldn't be ready. They went to go put gas in it. They washed it, and it'll be after the weekend. I said, "Okay, fine." So I started calling about it after I left my check there and everything, which was a 1099-A. And then I had been calling to see what was going on after the weekend, to see if it was ready. I finally went over there and spoke to Austin, the finance guy. He says, "We're still working on it, not to worry about it. We're still trying to get the paperwork through, or something about their underwriter or something like that." So I waited and I'm waiting. I'm calling and I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting the same old answers. Not to worry about it. So I went over there and I started asking for his boss, which would be the general manager. His name is Brandon Burnings. So I went down to where he was at, which is another location here in Alamogordo. And I spoke to him and I told him exactly. And he goes, "Oh, don't worry, the truck's yours." He goes, "Don't worry." He goes, "It's your truck." He goes, "We're just trying to get everything done as far as the way payment was concerned." And I said, "Okay." I said, I had already called about complaint. I said, "I called to complain about this with the, Attorney General's office, where you can file complaints about, personnel problems with customer service, whatever, to try to, solve something of what was going on." And he goes, "Okay." He goes, "Okay." And he asked to make copies of the bill of sale and asked to make copies of the purchase agreement, which I had signed all of them. And then I had left again. He goes, reassuring me that not to worry, we'll get it done. We'll get the truck done and finalized and everything else, but I couldn't take it. I'm like, "What?" And I was frustrated again. So I started calling people to file complaints, and which I did. I filed a lot of complaints and got nothing of help. What had happened was he also called the Attorney General. And what happened was there was a breach of contracts. When I found out this the first time, they had forwarded the way of payment to the Attorney General. And when I went back down there, I found this out to ask him personally what had happened. And he says, I called him instead, from the first time I went down there. So I called him back. And he says, "Well, the Attorney General told me to tell you that we don't have to accept this payment and that you're not going to get the truck, and that for us to go ahead and resell it." And I'm like, wait a minute. After I hang up, I said, you know what? I'm not going to argue with you, sir. I'm going to let it go like this. And I hung up. And when I called the Attorney General's office to file my complaint about this, they told me specifically, Charles, we can't do nothing about this legally. We can't give you no advice, but we can take the complaint. You know, that's when I left the complaint with them. But next thing I'm being told by the general manager of the company of Casa Auto Group, they told me that the Attorney General had told him to release the truck and not to comply with the way I was paying for the truck and just to ignore it. And I'm thinking, well, why is he giving this person who's running this company the direction of which way to go and giving him advice when I thought that was illegal? So I filed with his bosses, which are from El Paso, Texas. I filed. I sent a letter of acknowledgement to him. I sent letters of assignment. I've got all the copies of my return mail certified receipts from the Postal Service. I sent them a final notice because they didn't ever respond to me. I guess they chose acquiescence instead. And that's pretty much it right there. And I've never got my property back, which I filled out, and I used to purchase the vehicle. And they still have my property to this day of whatever it is, January, 19th or something already? I mean, I got all the evidence of everything, you know. According to consumer law, you know, they violated me on a tort claim to the Attorney General, Raul Torres. He's the one that gave that advice to the company. That's a tort claim. So many other, bases of legalities that they portrayed and are continually doing to me because I still don't have my vehicle or my property that I used to purchase it. I did all the proper paperwork. I filed, sent everything to the manager, which is Justin Lowenfield. He's the president, and also to the CEO, his brother, which is his name is I got it there somewhere. To him also, and I just don't know what else to do. Nothing, I have no remedy to anything. I just want the truck that I went in there, purchased, that they agreed to on contract with all the warranties, all 13 pages of warranties, the purchase agreement. I've got the bill of sale. I want the truck I paid for. It was already agreed upon on November 30th. When I went in there, they congratulated me on my purchase, and then they reversed everything. I want the truck I purchased. It was a $99,000 truck. That check was for $99,000. Around at $99,000. They gave me a discount to about, I think, $86,000. I just want my truck.